approve a refinancing plan and authorize to negotiate and execute a permanent financing commitment with the Love Funding Corporation. Corinne, who's going to lead us through this?
For this item, we'll have Victoria Dixon, who is a senior multifamily underwriter in the Mortgage Finance Division, and she will lead the discussion and take your questions.
Good.
Victoria, please go ahead.
Good morning, commissioners. I am speaking about the refinancing plan for the Paddington Square Apartments. It's a 165 unit apartment community in Silver Spring, Maryland. 41% of its units are restricted to households earning 50 to 60% AMI. The property currently has an outstanding $18.6 million senior loan with Love Funding, a HUD MAP lender under the FHA 223F program, with 29 years remaining at an interest rate of 4.05% inclusive of MIP. It also has a 10-year lockout restriction. There's an existing $5.2 million county HIF loan with approximately $300,000 of accrued interest, bringing it to a total $5.6 million. Considering the favorable interest rate environment, staff has solicited and received quotes from lenders within the Commission's MAP lender pool to refinance the senior loan. Upon comparison of the term sheets received, refinancing under the FHA 223A7 program with the existing lender is recommended, given that it provides best terms related to both interest rate and closing costs. Is expected to result in an additional $523,000 of cost savings over the next best quote, and will provide a total savings of approximately $9.4 million over the loan term. Under the program, the new loan will be FHA insured and backed by Ginnie Mae mortgage-backed securities. As part of closing, the 4% prepayment penalty on the old loan will be paid by the Ginnie Mae investor. No cash out is permitted with this refinance. However, closing costs can be capitalized into a larger supportable loan, therefore avoiding out-of-pocket expense from HOC. Subject to interest rate movements, staff anticipates the property will support a loan of approximately $18.8 million with a debt service coverage ratio of 1.5 at a rate of 3.25%. This is inclusive of MIP, or the mortgage insurance premium, otherwise known as, and a 50 basis points cushion. In addition, staff will pursue resubordination of the existing county HIF loan in accordance with the requirements of the refinance. Existing funds of the property held in the replacement reserve and renovation escrow total approximately $4,700 per unit, which will be used to fund an initial replacement reserve. Love Funding is our existing lender under the MAP lender pool, which is a multifamily accelerated processing lender. Just want to define that term for the viewer. Will the Development and Finance Committee join staff's recommendation to the Commission for the actions as proposed, which include approval of the refinancing plan as presented, authorization to negotiate and execute a financing commitment with Love Funding Corporation, authorization to resubordinate the county HIF loan, and authorization for the borrower to accept the new loans? Do you have any questions?
Are there questions of Victoria?
The HIF loan, have we already initiated conversation with the county about this?
We have not yet, no.
Do we expect any question about that?
So the resubordinate, I presume the resubordination is a requirement of the new senior loan.
Yes, I plan to start having conversations with the county very shortly. I would assume that the county will have some questions regarding payback of its HIF loan, but the loan terms do not allow any cash out, and so we are not able to repay any of the HIF loan at this time. But given I will say this, given the healthy debt service coverage that the property will achieve, there may be opportunities for some repayment at some period of time. But again, this would be a discussion to have with the county.
And based on the analysis that we've all looked at, the cash flow from the refinance will cause some of the HOC's obligations to be paid back sooner, which means that the repayment of the county's loan will start sooner. And so rather than several years out, we think maybe after about 3 years or so, the county will begin to receive more of its loan payment. And I think we saw it was year 3 or so, Jennifer and Victoria.
Right, because at this time, interest is being accrued. There has been no repayments done on the loan at this time since the refinancing in 2014.
Right.
Just for my information, and not because I'm suggesting it, but with the recent action on the Housing Production Fund, could it be used for such a purpose if the county required?
No.
Okay.
The Housing Production Fund is for new construction only. So.
All right, thank you.
I'm interested in why we haven't had conversations with HOC. I mean, with DHCA. I mean, to have gone through this entire process to refinance and not to have knocked on the door and said, hey, we're going to refinance this seems to be a little bit
Backwards.
strange.
Well, I think we wanted to put it in front of the commission first, the committee first, and then have our conversations with the county. I don't think we're putting it in front of the commission itself before having that conversation with the county. But that conversation is absolutely going to be had before the commission itself take action.
But that's only a week away, so.
Yes.
I strongly urge you to reconsider your timing in terms of these conversations with DHCA. If I were over there, I would not be enthusiastic.
Okay.
I move approval.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll offer a second with the understanding that this matter will in fact be presented to DCHA before our commission meeting.
Yes.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, staff.
Thank
The
you.
next item.
The next item will be discussed by Catherine Hollister, Senior Financial Analyst in the Real Estate Division, and it's a request for general contractor approval and approval of a preliminary development plan for the Willow Manor properties. And I'll turn it over to Catherine to begin her discussion.
Thanks, Karen. Good morning, commissioners. For the record, my name is Catherine Hollister. I'm a senior financial analyst in the real estate division. Staff is recommending approval of a preliminary development plan for the Willow Manor properties, including the selection of a general contractor. On page 20 of your brief book, you'll find an executive summary for the transaction. In 2018, HOC acquired 3 age-restricted senior properties. They are Willow Manor at Cloppers Mill, which is located in Germantown and consists of 102 units, 82 of which are LIHTC and 20 are market rate. Willow Manor at Fairhill Farm, which is located in Olney and consists of 101 LIHTC units, and Willow Manor at Colesville, which is located in Silver Spring and consists of 83 LIHTC units. Together, these properties are referred to as the Willow Manor properties. On April 1st of last year, the commission approved a pre-development plan and funding to pursue a renovation and LIHTC re-syndication of the properties as a single scattered site transaction. And staff is now requesting approval of a preliminary development plan, which includes approval to select Nasdas Construction as the general contractor for the renovation, approval to hold up to 20 vacant units across the 3 properties to facilitate phasing of the renovation, and approval to restrict all existing market rate units to 80% AMI as part of the resyndication. On page 22, you'll find the unit and affordability mix for the properties. The properties are made up of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments that are affordable to households earning 40%, 50%, and 60% AMI. There are also 20 market rate units at Cloppers Mill, which staff is recommending restricting to 80% AMI as part of the resyndication. There are also 18 accessible units across the 3 properties. Slide 23 provides the renovation scope of work. On the right are pictures of the property's current conditions. And staff is proposing a preliminary development plan that would modernize residential units, update common area amenities, and improve site conditions. The renovation would also include energy efficiency upgrades, including LED lighting, Energy Star appliances, and low flow plumbing fixtures. On page 24, you'll find a summary of the general contractor procurement for the properties. Staff issued an RFP on December 23rd, 2020. Responses were due on February 26, 2021. HOC received 3 proposals before the RFP deadline, and the respondents were Nasdas Construction, Kane Construction, and Houghton Construction. A scoring committee made up of 3 HOC staff members from the real estate, property management, and maintenance divisions scored the proposals pursuant to the scoring criteria in the RFP. Based on the scoring results, staff is requesting approval of Nasdas Construction as the general contractor for the project, as they scored the highest among respondents. On page 25, we've included a summary of the pricing, including in the GC proposals. Nasdas Construction provided the lowest bid for the project, both in net construction costs and total construction costs. Nasdas Construction is headquartered in Maryland and is a certified MBE general contractor. In addition, Nasdas is committed to subcontracting 30% of the work to other certified MBE subcontractors. Nasdas is also experienced in light tech transactions and has successfully completed a number of light tech projects in the state of Maryland. Page 26 provides the sources and uses and operating pro forma for the transaction. In summary, the transaction will generate enough LIHTC equity and tax exempt bond proceeds to fully repay the outstanding senior loans, fully fund the renovations, generate a developer fee for HOC in the amount of $5 million, and a commitment fee in the amount of $900,000, and repay approximately 60% of the outstanding county HIF loans. Page 27 provides a timeline for the transaction and summarizes the approval staff is requesting as part of the preliminary development plan. Staff will return to the commission in June for approval of the LIHTC syndicator, and again in September for approval of the final development and finance plan. Page 28 provides the summary and recommendations for this item. Staff requests that the Development and Finance Committee join staff's recommendation to the commission to 1, approve the selection of Nasdas Construction as the general contractor for the renovation of the properties and authorize the executive director to negotiate a contract with Nasdas. 2, approval to hold up to a 7% vacancy, a total of 20 units across all 3 properties, beginning in April 2021 until completion of construction in approximately May 2023 in order to facilitate renovation phasing. And 3, approve the public purpose at the properties, which restricts all existing market rate units to 80% AMI as part of the LIHTC application and scattered site resyndication. Thank you for your consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Catherine, you noted that the proposed contractor you are recommending committed to providing an additional 30% to MBEs.
Yes.
What's the internal process for monitoring that performance?
From HOC's perspective?
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now, as part of their proposal, they had to submit a subcontracting plan. I don't know if Kieran has specifics in terms of how procurement actually monitors that after engagement, but that is what we evaluated as part of the scoring and what was submitted as part of their proposal.
Doesn't our compliance officer have something to do with that?
Darcel, are you on the call? Yeah, so I know that that lady keeps track of MBE data, but I don't know that that she tracks day to day or receives any report.
Karen, this is Cornelia. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. We track the contract awards, but
Right,
we don't contract after that. We don't follow up after that. And I'm not sure if when they're submitting their monthly statements and such to real estate, if they're indicating how much has been
right.
spent.
So if that's not happening, we can work with our compliance group to develop a process for tracking and making sure that they're not just reporting up front, but that on an ongoing basis they're actually doing what they're committing to do. So I'll make note of that and work with Darcel and others in HOC to ensure that that's actually happening. And Darcel is our compliance officer.
That would be appropriate. And I would concur with Roy and the implication of his question that we should be monitoring this and holding the contractors accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, pardon me. I'm a bit surprised. We have talked about this issue for the last few years.
We sure have.
And I thought there was in place a program to monitor ongoing compliance, not just see whether they dotted the right I's and crossed the right T's. I think that the committee should suggest to the executive director that he prepare a report to the commission on how we are going to, in an ongoing way, monitor our MBE requirements, because this is not the only contract that we have.
Yeah.
And again, this issue has been discussed before and I thought was taken care of.
Would you make a motion to that effect?
Sure. I move that the executive director report to the pardon me, report to the develop. Pardon me. That the executive director, I would say, report to the Development Finance Committee on the ongoing program to monitor MBE performance of all of our contractors who are required to perform such functions.
Second that motion.
Been moved and seconded that we receive a report of contract compliance. And all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. I have a question. How many ADA units, or what is the percentage of ADA units in these developments?
So there are 6 ADA units at each of the properties, so a total of 18, which is about 5%.
And we're only making the showers fully accessible in the ADA units in this renovation?
No, all of those were just specifically, we wanted to put in new Rollin Showers. So that was just specifically called out with the ADA units. I mean, the units will remain accessible throughout. So we're talking about new cabinets and countertops, appliances, so it isn't just that the only renovation to ADA units are the Rollin Showers. I just specifically called that out because we're not necessarily replacing the shower pans in non-accessible units, but we will be doing so for all accessible units.
Well, I don't understand why we continue to drag our feet, which I feel we're doing, in providing roll-in showers, particularly in buildings with for the elderly. When we're making this kind of an investment and we're in all these units and we've displaced units and are carrying vacancies to update them in the name of sustainability, I don't understand why we don't routinely, I know there's a cost, but we're making an investment for a considerable period of time. And it makes no sense to me that we are not converting to roll-in showers. The technology has improved significantly. The costs are beginning to come down in doing it. From a sustainability and an adaptability and the absoluteness of the fact that our residents are elderly when they move in, and their capacity is bound to, over time, be diminished. And it just seems to me, as a matter of principle, when we are doing bathrooms in any of our facilities, that we are not converting showers to roll-in showers. And I plead with my fellow commissioners to join me in encouraging and insisting that we do this when we are making these kinds of modifications to start with. The bathrooms are the place in a home where most injuries occur. And for some elderly with balance problems or who've had strokes or taking medications that affect their balances, we can be removing a significant barrier and potential harm to them. And to fail to do so just stuns me. And I think we really need to be rethinking about increasing the safety and the sustainability and the adaptability of all of our developments, but particularly buildings that are to accommodate people who are elderly.
Commissioner Simon, my question is just for clarity. Are you asking for Rollin Showers for this development across the board, or?
Yes, I'm asking that every time we are modifying bathrooms and making an investment in a major investment like this one in our developments, that we make our showers fully accessible, that we make them roll-in showers.
And all showers?
All showers.
Hmm.
There's no reason not to. They're beautiful. They are becoming easier to do. The technology, there are a lot of products and manufacturers now. I've been working with a development that has converted everything to roll-in showers. There's just no reason in my mind not to do it.
Okay, so your point is noted, and I think this is something we can discuss and consider, but I would just add that we need to balance this against the fact that these are independent living developments, and there's some folks, for marketability reasons, there are some folks who may not want a roll-in shower, and so as we're planning, in a separate discussion, we should consider the fact that some occupants may want a different type of bathroom, and some may require or need or want roll-in showers, and so we should have that separate conversation among staff and have a follow-up conversation on the topic. But I don't agree with you that's
I'm sorry, but I vigorously disagree. A shower is a shower, and it can be a safe shower or it can be one that creates a barrier. And if you're doing showers, they should be roll-in showers. And that's what is being put more in market units. people are beginning to do this. The insurance industry encourages it. I just don't understand.
Sure.
The appearance is much more sleek and elegant, and whether it's market units, subsidized units, but particularly when we hold the responsibility as landlords,
So
I
let,
would think that we'd be wanting to reduce our liability and ensure the safety of our residents. And I can't understand any resistance to roll-in showers. They're beautiful.
so let us look at it and all of the particulars and see what can be done, particularly here, because we're now evaluating these 3 properties.
Well, we've got, what, 300, how many units are we talking about? We can do them while we're doing this. And I'm going to start making my concurrence with redevelopment plans based on eliminating this barrier that no longer needs to exist. The technology didn't exist before, but it does now. And I just can't be a part of continuing to put barriers in people's way. So I would like an answer to this before this goes to the commission.
Commissioner Simon, I understand very, very, very well the sentiment of your comment. I do think that there may be other mitigating considerations, some of which have been outlined, Karine. And I think that we should be able to give the staff the flexibility to be able to come with understanding the 100% being what you would like to see, and coming back with, in their proposals, if something is less than that, the rationale for it. So I want to at least be able to hear that, because I think there are certain situations where a consumer may not want a rolling shower, not respective of how it looks, functional or whatever. It's just a matter that they don't want it. And so I think we have to be aware of that as well.
Shower, Roy, except there's not a curb that has to be stepped over. That's the only difference. A shower is a shower.
Can I suggest one, Jackie, you said you wanted this resolved before the commission meeting. I think this is a item that could be deferred until afterwards. It doesn't have to be resolved by the commission meeting. It obviously has to be resolved before we contract out for improvements. I also think that the subject is one that requires more study, analysis, and development recommendations than is reasonable to be developed over the course of the next week. I mean, I, for one, would like to see some examples of the new stuff. I mean, I literally have very little knowledge about roll-in showers other than the ones that I've seen that were probably very old. So it would be very useful to see some examples of what you're saying, that how the technology and how design has progressed. I mean, I think you raise a very valid point, but I don't want to rush into a decision that binds us in the case of all of our units. So I would urge you to make your point and request that they get back to us on that subject before they contract for construction.
I would like to, I will accept your suggestion for timing. I would like to arrange a tour to show you such showers. And I think, I don't know where the stigma has arisen around this. Before it was cost and technology, but that isn't an argument any longer in my mind. And when we're making these long-term investments, I just think we need to be setting an example for the industry, and I would ask the staff to get together with me and let me set up a tour of some that are out on Redland Road.
Okay, offline, I'll talk to you about my
Okay.
doing the same.
All right.
Just a quick I'm sorry to interrupt. Just
Go
a
ahead.
clarifying question. So just to be clear, are you drilling down on replacing, just ensuring any unit with a shower is a roll-in shower versus a tub versus shower conversation? Or are you saying that we shouldn't have
No.
tubs at the property?
I'm saying that if it is a shower only bathroom,
Got it.
All right.
that they
Got it.
be
Yeah.
rolling.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we do talk to, we do at these renovations, particularly, for instance, at our, when we went through RAD, we asked every household, their preference for tub or shower, and that was very split. But if the drill down here is that, hey, if it is a shower unit, we want to make sure that it's a roll-in shower, then that clarification
Curbless is
helpful.
the new
Curbless,
term.
right? Yep, curbless, got it. Yep, so that's very helpful, and
Yeah.
so thank you.
Yep, that's helpful.
Thank you.
Catherine, can I, on a different subject, can I ask you on your sources and uses on page 26, the developer fee, would you tell me about that?
Sure. So that's calculated off of the state's Form 202. And there are eligible costs where we can earn a developer fee. So it's pursuant to the LIHTC
Who gets
program. HOC would get that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard you say somebody else. That's why.
No.
The other question I would have relating to a discussion we had on the last item, and we had discussions with DHCA on the reduction of the HIF loan.
So when we, as you may remember, we acquired these properties under the right of first refusal.
Right.
The county executed their right, and then they assigned it to us. And they put in a significant amount of HIF funds to make the acquisition happen. At that time, it was discussed that these would ultimately be a LIHTC resyndication to maximize the amount that we can repay the HIF. You may remember back last year when we came to the commission for approval of a pre-development plan and funding, we had analyzed 3 different permanent financing structures. And it was this LIHTC structure that enabled us to repay more of the HIF than any other permanent financing scenario. So this maximizes our ability to repay the HIF, and the county wanted us to do this from the beginning.
I don't think you answered my question. My question is, have we had discussions with DHCA on this reduction from 19 to whatever, $7 million?
So I've had conversations with Mr. Cager on and off with regard to the refinancing that pays back portions of the HIF. One of the constraining things for us along the way has always been the availability of volume cap and how much we can pay back. So we've not been able to say definitively we can pay back X. So while we know that we're able to pay back some of it, we have not been able to commit to a specific amount yet. So we've not presented a plan to say we think we can pay back these amounts and it's a firm amount. So it's an ongoing conversation, and it will be an ongoing conversation until we know what the specific amount is. So he is aware that this is happening, and some portion of his loan will be paid back.
But it is an ongoing conversation with DHCA.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm getting the sense that the communications are not continuing at the level that they could and should?
I think, until we make a formal request via a letter to say we're requesting the subordination of X amount, when we know what that X amount is. We're not at that point yet, but it's an ongoing dialogue with them.
Okay.
With
Okay.
regards to the financing, and that we'll be repaying a significant portion of the HIF, assuming that we have the bond cap to allocate to it.
Okay.
Transaction, yes.
The last point, and I'm not seeking a change. I'm gathering that we're increasing the affordability in, which is at Clopper Mill, because of the LIHTC refinancing. Is that required that we be 100%?
Yes, that is a requirement of a
Okay.
scattered site like that.
Okay. Just to note my serious concern with not continuing with a mixed income property. I understand it's a requirement of scattered site, but I don't want us to get into this thing of making more and more 100% affordable properties. Mixed income is the model.
Noted.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Question, Catherine, on the proposed renovation plan, I know these 3 buildings were built at different times. They weren't built at the same time, but were they built with the same design consideration? Because is it possible you're going to have a different civic plan? They'll be different because instead of having a butler kitchen, you may have some other kind of kitchen. I mean, I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, so these were built around the same time. Colesville was built in 2004, and Cloppers and Fairhill Farm were built in 2005, and they're all built by the same developer.
Right.
So they're really identical. You start to lose track of which property you're in when you're walking around them. So they're very similar in finishes and unit types and layouts.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, thank you, Rick. And is there a second?
I second the approval request.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the staff recommendation and approve the selection of Nasdas Construction and approve to hold up a 7% vacancy for a total of 20 units across the properties, and approve the public purpose of the properties and move forward. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is approved. Thank you, staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item.
So the last discussion item is a request for the renewal, the final renewal of the financial advisor contract with Kane Mitter and Associates. And I will lead that discussion. And the committee and commission have seen this before in different forms. Back in 2017, after a full procurement, the commission approved the selection of Kane Mitter and Associates as the financial advisor for the commission. We entered into a contract for an initial 2 years with 3 one-year renewals for a maximum term of 5 years. And we're now asking approval of the final renewal, which would commence on July 1 through June 30th of 2022. And during this last renewal, we would start a new procurement as required under the procurement policy. And Kane Mitter has really been effective. If you would just jump to page 2 of the actual memo. So the financial advisor, they're heavily regulated by the Municipal Standards Rulemaking Board of the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they have to be any of the staff that came in that's providing financial advisor service, they have to be registered, and they have to take an exam, a Series 50 exam, before they can represent us and provide advice to us. But notwithstanding all of that, the K-Mitter, they are, we believe, effective in providing advisor service to the commission. And I have some details here in reflecting some of the things that they've been involved or engaged in with us, with the commission over the last or since this contract period. And just a few highlights, they've completed 8 publicly issued transactions totaling $366 million, and some of them have been new financing and some refunding transactions. They serve as pipeline manager for the Commission's mortgage-backed securities program, totaling about $53 million in just mortgage-backed securities in the secondary market. They assist the Commission in managing interest rate risk, particularly for transactions that are under construction and are to be placed in service at a later date. They were very instrumental in working with us and providing data as we were working with the county on the Housing Production Fund, so that we were able to show the county details with regard to what could be funded, how much it would cost the county on an annual basis, and providing arguments for or against certain positions that were taken by the folks at the county. And very importantly, they work very closely with us in responding to and presenting materials to the rating agency on specific issuances, but also just in general on our GO and just general finance matters. It was also K-Mitter's idea with regard to the recycling of the multifamily volume cap that financed the $99 million of West Side Shady Grove. So in addition to just general bond issuance, they provide miscellaneous but very critical advisory services that enhance the Commission's programs. And I believe given the pipeline for 2021, I would recommend that the committee, the Development and Finance Committee, join staff support in recommending this final renewal to the Commission, renewal of the K-Mitter contract, that is for 1 more year. So if there are any questions, I'll take them at this time.
I don't have any questions at all, but I would certainly support the performance that I have been able to participate in that's involved K-Mitter. I think they're outstanding and provided excellent services to the Commission. And I certainly would recommend and support the increasing contract through the next year.
Got a motion?
I make a motion to do so.
Second.
And moved and seconded to continue the K-Mitter contract, and certainly they have served us well for a considerable period of time, and their advice is highly respected. So all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And is there anything else to come before the group?
Not at this time.
Is it possible for us to move into our special session now, or do we need to wait until noon?
You've got
12:30.
you have other commissioners who are planning on noon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So I think we have to wait.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second motion.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Farewell all. We'll see you at noon.
Thank you. See you at noon.
Bye-bye.